Fortunately, I don't get them all wrong. I don't get them all right either, that's for sure. But I did predict this, as many of you did as well. China has replaced Japan and Germany as the largest exporter of vehicles worldwide. It's almost an impossible scenario for either of those countries to once again get the title as the largest exporter of cars. By this time next year, China will have left those two countries in its dust. And this is not me saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying, I told you investors this would happen, and you didn't listen. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name's Sam Evans. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. And welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. If you're a new subscriber to the channel, make sure you check out some of the videos we've done over the past 2 years since we started the channel, around 3,200, I should say. Patreon supporters, thank you so much for what you do. I would not be here without you. That's the truth. And your support makes this entire channel possible. Thank you so much. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, that would be amazing. I'll put a link in the description. And also you can just, if you want, Google Patreon, the Electric Viking. In the first quarter of this year, China surpassed Japan and Germany to become the world's largest vehicle exporter for the first time in history, exporting nearly 1.1 million vehicles. Japan used to be the world's leading vehicle exporter, exporting just over 1 million vehicles for the first quarter of the year. So it was still close. I mean, it was only a difference of around about 30,000 vehicles. It wasn't a big difference. But by the time you're watching this video, well, the difference will be greater, and next week it'll be even greater, and the following week it'll be even greater. And, well, that's just the way it's all going. And now the truth is here that a lot of Japan's exports are cars exported into countries, basically third world type countries, where they're selling, well, developing countries, I should say, sorry, to be technically correct, where they're selling very, very affordable small cars. For example, a lot of Toyota's cars are very small, very affordable cars. You go to Indonesia, a lot of poorer Asian countries, African countries, and a lot of the cars are going there. Now, a lot of their manufacturers are really not, they're really going after and targeting, in particular, places like Europe, Israel, Singapore. You get my point here. They want the higher margin sales. And you're probably wondering, who are these car manufacturers exporting these cars outside of China? Well, for example, one of them was actually Tesla, but they weren't the biggest exporter of cars that were made in China. That was SAIC. SAIC sell the electric car brand MG. And SAIC are a state-owned company. So the criticism, a lot of people say, oh, if you buy a car made by so-and-so, it's just made by the Chinese government. They're usually wrong. I mean, in the case of BYD, for example, BYD, their largest shareholder is not the government. In fact, it's not even one of their top 5 shareholders. BYD is a privately owned company. It's definitely not a state-owned organization, which is SAIC. Now, MG sells some really good electric cars. I've got to say, I actually sat in one today. I was picked up by a taxi here in Thailand, and the lady was an amazing driver. She blew my mind, actually. She was the best driver I've seen in Thailand, without a doubt. And it was a lady driving a station wagon MG electric car. Actually, it's actually called the MG5. She got it for $20,000 US, brand new. Station wagon, electric car. The thing drove insanely well, and she was driving like a rocket. It was amazing. My boys loved it. They were so excited. And we got to our destination in about half the time what we normally would. But the car was really, really nice on the inside. The outside made it looked a lot like a Volkswagen Passat station wagon, or Avant, as you call them in Europe. Really nice car, but $20,000 US. You can see why people are buying them. Can you buy the equivalent of any kind for that price, made by any Japanese automaker? Can you? I mean, is there a single model from any of their powerhouse of automotive companies? There's not. No options, and definitely nothing that price of that quality. I don't see how that's ever going to change. If you do, let me know in the comments, because I would be fascinated to know how this could happen, how Japan could stop this reverse, how they could stop the bleeding. This is some serious bleeding going on here. In second place to SAIC was Chery. In third place was Tesla China. In fourth place was Chang'an. Fifth was Geely. So as you can see, Geely is It's not exporting as many cars as you would think it is. It's a big global conglomerate. You would think they're exporting more cars than that, but actually Tesla China exports more cars worldwide than Geely does. Shocking. Next was Great Wall Motors. They have the Aura electric car brand. By the way, I've seen heaps of Aura electric cars here in Thailand, which has been pretty cool to see them. They look better in real life than I think in the photos. And after them were Dongfeng. I own a Dongfeng electric car, by the way. Followed by JAC, then BYD and BAIC. So you can see here, if you look at Tesla China's export numbers, they're more than twice that. They're more than twice that of BYD. Right now, BYD is still basically a Chinese car company selling cars in China. They sell a very small percentage of their actual vehicle sales outside of China. They need to speed that up. They really need to speed that up as quickly as possible. Get them out of China as quickly as possible. And why do I say that? Because I have stock in BYD and I want them to do well. That's why. I mean, come on. You have all your eggs in one basket. I think there's a reason Warren Buffett is selling the stock because, yes, of course, a big part of the company is their battery manufacturing, the second biggest battery company in the world. I said that would happen before it happened many times when they were in 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place. Of course, I'm sure you did as well. But the thing is here, BYD, their eggs are basically in one big basket. Automotive is the majority of the company, of course. And automotive right now is selling in the bloodbath of China. Why are all these car companies selling more and more cars outside of China? Because why would you want to sell them in China? I mean, yeah, you want to sell them in China if you can sell them at a price where you make money on them, but no one is making money there right now. There is just too many cars in inventory, millions and millions of them. And legacy automakers are discounting their cars because they're desperately trying to claw back market share that they're losing at a rapid pace. So what that means is this flood of cars coming out of China, going around the world, will only speed up over the next year. It will reach breakneck pace by the end of this year. By the start of next year, by the first quarter of next year, I predict that there will be 2 million vehicles exported in the first quarter versus the 1 million of this year, or 1.1 million. I predict doubling, so 2.2 million, meaning China's export figures will double, possibly even triple. Doubling would be probably an understatement. But do you agree with that? Let me know in the comments. So the actual numbers for BYD. BYD officially exported 58,000 vehicles over the first 3 months of this year. However, those figures increased a little bit in April. The total from January to April was actually nearly 1.4 million, meaning China actually exported 376,000 vehicles in April alone. That puts them at a run rate to hit probably around about 4.5 million, maybe 5 million by the end of this year. And then numbers for April were actually a year-on-year increase of 170%. So you can see how my guess for next year, for the first quarter of next year, of a doubling of their sales could be quite an understatement if they're already increasing them by 170% versus the same month last year. So which countries are getting the most Chinese cars right now? You'd be quite surprised with the results. In fact, I would almost guarantee you're not going to guess what the first three are. Russia, United States, Mexico, the United Kingdom, Belgium, Japan, Australia, Germany, the United Arab Emirates, and South Korea. As you can see what I was saying before about sending their cars to places where they can make more margin on them, sending higher cost cars there. However, those aren't the only countries that China has been sending cars to. They've also been exporting cars to Egypt, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, a small number to India, Thailand, Vietnam, Russia, the United Kingdom, the United States, a whole host of European car countries, Mexico, the Caribbean in North America, Brazil, Chile, Peru, and Ecuador. These numbers are actually way bigger than they look. And this point was hammered out by Car News China recently. They said before 2020, China's annual vehicle exports hovered at around 1 million units per year for 10 years. Then in 2021, Chinese vehicle exports soared to more than 2 million units, surpassing South Korea to become the world's third largest vehicle exporter only after Japan and Germany. And then in 2022, China's vehicle export volume reached a new high of 3.11 million vehicles, surpassing Germany for the first time. becoming the world's second largest vehicle exporter. At that time, I made a video, which I'll link to in the description below, saying that China would very soon overtake Japan and become first in the world. You can see this is a crazy rapid run rate because they've gone from 1 million a year in the space of only a couple of years, from 1 million to a run rate of about 4.4 million. That, my friends, is astronomical. Now, the Chinese Passenger Car Association is predicting something fairly similar to me. They're a little bit more conservative though. They're predicting vehicle exports will reach over 4 million by the end of this year. Now, let me know what your thoughts are on all this, because I see this as a trend that will never be reversed. In fact, I see China taking over around 50% of the world's auto market. Maybe a bit more than that. Why? Because they're the ones making all the EVs, and they make them at very low prices. And they've got a willing market. People just saying, bring them here. We'll buy them, we'll buy them, we'll buy them. Where are those people? Europe, Asia, the Middle East, South and Central America. There's a lot of people living in those countries. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.